Your gut after 70 works nothing like it did at 50. Gastric acid production, the same acid your stomach uses to break down and dissolve supplements, drops by as much as 40 to 50% as you age. And there is one supplement that depends almost entirely on that acid to absorb properly. Magnesium. The most common form sold in pharmacies and health food stores is magnesium oxide. Research published by the NIH shows it absorbs at around 4% in a healthy adult. After 70, with lower stomach acid, that number drops further still. You could be taking magnesium every single night, and your body could be rejecting 96% of it without you ever knowing. In the next 14 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens, which 3 forms of magnesium your gut can actually absorb after 70, and how to know which one is right for your specific situation. Before we get into this, everything I share here is based on published research and medical sources, and is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor before making any changes to your supplements or medications. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions inside your body: muscle contraction, nerve signaling, blood sugar regulation, bone density, sleep quality. Magnesium is embedded in all of it. And yet deficiency in adults over 70 is remarkably common. According to the NIH Office of Dietary Supplements, magnesium absorption decreases and urinary excretion increases with age. Many older adults do not get enough from food alone, and the standard blood serum test most doctors run does not detect intracellular depletion, meaning your levels can look normal on paper while your cells are running on empty. So most people try to fix this with a supplement, the right instinct, but they reach for the most available form, magnesium oxide, the cheapest version on almost every pharmacy shelf. And the problem is not the magnesium itself. The problem is what happens to magnesium oxide inside an aging gut. Here is what I want you to understand by the time this video ends. The form of magnesium you take determines how much your body actually gets. And most seniors are unknowingly taking a form their body can barely process. Let me show you exactly why, and then we will fix it. To understand why form matters so much, you need to understand what happens to magnesium inside your digestive system before it reaches your blood. When you swallow a magnesium tablet, it has to dissolve in your stomach before your small intestine can absorb it. That dissolving step is driven primarily by stomach acid. The more acid present, the faster and more completely the tablet breaks down. Less acid, and the tablet passes through largely intact. This is where aging creates a specific problem, a condition called atrophic gastritis, where the stomach lining gradually produces less acid, affects an estimated 30 to 40% of adults over 60, according to findings published in the World Journal of Diabetes by Barbagallo and Dominguez. Even people without a formal diagnosis typically experience a gradual decline in acid output as part of normal aging. Magnesium oxide requires a highly acidic stomach environment to break apart and dissolve properly. Research cited by Rude in the Encyclopedia of Dietary Supplements puts the bioavailability of magnesium oxide at approximately 4% in controlled studies. And that figure is for younger, healthy adults with full gastric acid production. After 70, with stomach acid reduced by up to 50%, that number goes lower. The practical result? A 400 mg magnesium oxide tablet may deliver fewer than 16 milligrams of actually absorbable magnesium to your bloodstream. The rest leaves your body as waste. This is not a labeling fraud. It is not a quality problem with cheap supplements. It is biology. Magnesium oxide was not designed with a 75-year-old gut in mind. But not all forms of magnesium work this way. Some are bonded to organic molecules that allow them to absorb through a completely separate pathway in the small intestine, one that does not depend on stomach acid at all. Those are the 3 forms I want to walk you through now, starting with the most widely studied. And I will also tell you at the end which of these 3 forms most people should actually start with. because it is probably not the one you are expecting. The first form is magnesium glycinate. Glycinate means the magnesium is chemically bonded to glycine, an amino acid. Glycine is absorbed through a dedicated amino acid transport system in the small intestine, a pathway that functions independently of stomach acid. Because the magnesium is attached to the glycine molecule, it travels through this same pathway and bypasses the acid-dependent dissolving step entirely. A 2017 review by Schuchard and Hahn, published in Current Nutrition and Food Science, compared bioavailability across multiple magnesium forms and found that organic compounds, including those bonded to amino acids, showed significantly higher absorption rates than inorganic forms like oxide, particularly in individuals with compromised gastric function. What does magnesium glycinate do in the body? It supports the same core functions as all magnesium: muscle relaxation, nerve signaling, sleep quality, heart rhythm regulation. But its profile makes it particularly relevant for 3 specific symptoms that are common in adults over 70: muscle cramps at night, difficulty staying asleep, and low-grade anxiety or nervous tension. The glycine component plays a supporting role here. Glycine acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system and has been independently associated with improved sleep quality in older adults. The calming effect many people notice from magnesium glycinate may reflect both the magnesium and the glycine working together. In practice, glycinate is the most extensively studied of the 3 forms for correcting general magnesium deficiency in older adults. It is well tolerated, rarely causes digestive upset, which is more than can be said for oxide, and is most effectively taken in the evening with food to support sleep onset. Who it is most suited for? People whose primary symptoms are poor sleep, nighttime muscle cramps, or persistent fatigue. Now, the second form works on a completely different system inside your body. And if your problem is not sleep, but energy and physical strength, this one is far more relevant to you. The second form is magnesium malate. Malate is derived from malic acid, an organic compound found naturally in apples and many other fruits. Like glycinate, it uses an organic transport pathway that does not depend on high stomach acid, giving it a meaningful absorption advantage in an aging gut. But magnesium malate has a distinct functional profile. Malic acid is a key intermediate in the Krebs cycle, the cellular process your body uses to generate energy from food at the mitochondrial level. This connection to cellular energy metabolism is what separates malate from glycinate in terms of where it is most useful. A 2016 study by Veronese and colleagues, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, examined the effect of oral magnesium supplementation on physical performance in healthy women over 70 who were randomly assigned to receive supplemental magnesium or a control over 12 weeks. The magnesium group showed measurable improvements in short physical performance battery scores, including grip strength, walking speed, and chair stand test results, compared with the control group. What does this tell you about your situation? If your concerns center on physical function, muscle fatigue during the day, reduced stamina, legs that feel heavy or weak on stairs, magnesium malate is the form most likely to address the energy production side of magnesium deficiency. Unlike glycinate, malate is generally taken in the morning or early afternoon. Because of its role in energy metabolism, taking it in the evening can interfere with sleep onset in some people. Who it is most suited for? People whose primary symptoms are physical fatigue, reduced stamina, or muscle weakness during activity. The third form is different from both of these in one very specific way. It is the only magnesium compound that was engineered to reach the brain directly. And for a lot of people over 70, that changes everything. The third form is Magnesium L-Threonate. It is the most targeted of the 3 and the one that comes with the most specific indication. L-Threonate is a compound derived from threonic acid, a metabolite of vitamin C. It was specifically selected by a research team at MIT because of one property that distinguishes it from every other magnesium compound. It crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively than other forms of magnesium. This matters because magnesium plays a direct role in synaptic plasticity, the ability of brain synapses to strengthen, adapt, and form new connections. Synaptic plasticity is fundamental to memory consolidation, learning, and cognitive function. The brain maintains its own internal magnesium concentration to some degree, but that concentration declines with age. Research by Barbagallo and Dominguez notes that low brain magnesium is associated with impaired neural transmission and is implicated in age-related cognitive decline. What makes L-Threonate clinically interesting is that it was engineered specifically to address this, not to raise magnesium levels in muscle or blood, but inside the brain. This means L-Threonate is not the form you reach for if your primary concern is muscle cramps or physical fatigue. It is for cognitive function, mental clarity, working memory, and sleep quality viewed from the perspective of brain health rather than muscle relaxation. It is also the most expensive of the three forms, typically costing 2 to 3 times more per serving than glycinate or malate. Whether that cost is justified depends entirely on whether cognition is your primary concern. L-Threonate is generally taken in 2 divided doses, one in the morning and one in the evening. Some people report particularly vivid dreams in the first few weeks of use, which reflects its activity in brain tissue rather than a side effect of concern. Who it is most suited for? People whose primary concern is memory, mental clarity, or cognitive function. Before I tell you which of these 3 forms is right for your situation, I want to make sure you avoid the one mistake most people make even after switching to the correct form. Because getting the form right is step 1, but there is a step 2 that almost nobody talks about. Let me bring this together. The form of magnesium you take determines how much of it your body actually uses. After 70, with reduced stomach acid, magnesium oxide, the most common form in pharmacies, is largely wasted. Research confirms absorption at approximately 4% even in younger adults with full acid production. That number is lower in an aging gut. The 3 forms that bypass this problem are Magnesium Glycinate, Magnesium Malate, and Magnesium L-Threonate. Glycinate for sleep, nighttime cramps, and general deficiency correction. Malate for physical energy and daytime muscle function. L-Threonate for cognitive clarity and brain health. Step 2 is timing. Taking the right form at the wrong time of day cuts its effectiveness significantly. Glycinate in the evening, malate in the morning, L-Threonate split across both. That is the full picture. These are not interchangeable. The right form depends on the specific symptom you are addressing. Before you switch anything, bring this conversation to your doctor, especially if you take medications that affect kidney function, since magnesium excretion runs through the kidneys and several common drug classes interact with magnesium levels. Most supplement guidance was written for a general adult population. It was not written for someone whose gut, kidneys, and brain are working differently at 70 than they were at 40. The research on magnesium absorption exists. The better absorbing forms exist. What was missing was someone translating the science into something practical for where you actually are in life. Now you know that form matters more than dose. You know your gut at 70 is not the same absorptive environment it once was. And you know 3 specific forms that work with your body rather than against it, and which one addresses your situation specifically. That is a real, actionable shift SPET. If this video helped you think about your supplements differently, subscribe to Healthy Aging. We publish content exactly like this every week. Research-backed, senior-specific, no exaggeration, no guesswork. Just the science translated for the life you're living right now. I will see you in the next one.